Again, let me go ahead and welcome Christian Washington. He's the founder and owner of Cookies and Crust. Phenomenal cookie business. Been selling out for quite some time. And he's also an excellent speaker as well. So let's give Chris a round of applause.
So today I'm going to talk about personal branding, the power of personal branding. This is one of my favorite sectors in business. So, by a raise of hands, who's ever begged their parents for a new pair of shoes, Nike, Jordans, whatever? Okay, I'm seeing some hands. Y'all look bougie, but me too. I'm wearing my black hats. But what makes this shoe different from this shoe? Now, some of y'all might be saying, I just saw a fake Jordan. But these are made in the same exact factory by the same exact people. But this shoe is $400 and this shoe is $20. That is the power of personal branding and brand positioning. Now that we know how brands work, let's look at how people work. Now we all know Beyonce, powerhouse singer, but she's also a black activist, an entrepreneur. She has her brand Ivy Park with Adidas. And she has more brands, but all of them culminate into one big brand. Moving on, we have LeBron. Everybody knows him as a powerhouse for the Lakers and basketball, but he's also a black activist. And he also has a promise school. And he has over a dozen different brand deals, making him one of the only NBA billionaires. All of this is because of their personal brand. Now, who am I and why should you listen to me about personal branding? I'm going to bring you through a journey of how I started and where I am today. So this is an awful picture of me. I started off at Kroger at 14 as a badger, working a 9 to 5. I did not like it, I hated it, and I knew how to do something different. So during COVID, I opened my business, Cookies and Crust. It's an e-commerce cookie brand selling nationwide. And I did this with one goal, to sell quality cookies to the masses. After that, I started working with businesses and companies like NASCAR, Under Armour, and the Richard Mayor's office, all to grow my business. After that, I won Entrepreneur of the Year. This took me a while to earn. I mean, at first, I was in business for 5 years before I ever earned any award. I was just doing it for the love of the game. But what it taught me is that people just weren't buying my cookies because of me. They were buying into me as a person. My mom's friends would come over the house 2 times a month and be like, Christian, we need your cookies. I'm like, y'all don't need these cookies that much. Like, y'all are always eating these cookies up. But they were like, we want to invest into a young black man who's doing something different, who's not following the status quo, who wants to break away from what everybody else is doing. So they were investing to me as a person. Now, listen, every single one of you already has a personal brand, no matter if you know it or not. Some of you are always the late friend, the funny friend, and the smart friend. So let's take that brand and use it for your monetization. So what is personal branding? It's how you show up. Are you reliable? Are you positive? It's how you make people feel. People remember experiences, not just products. When I first started my business, Cookies and Crust, everybody was virtual. Nobody was face-to-face, so I did something different. Every single order, I went to their house. I dropped off their order, and I talked to them and said, how are you? How can we help? What can we do? This was a personal connection that made them so into my business even more. And lastly, what do you stand for? What do people associate you with? This is a key step. When you leave that room, people need to remember you for something. Next, everybody pull out their phones and scan this QR code. And we're going to see what you think that you're known for. So in 3 words, if somebody had to describe you, what would they say? So right now I'm saying kind, I'm saying funny, I'm saying smart, caring, leader, okay. I'm saying athletic. I'm saying entrepreneur, millionaire, helper, tall, leader, yes. So all of these things culminate into who you are as a person and what your brand is. So how do you build your personal brand? Step 1 is you have to find your own sauce, find your own lane. You can't do it like everybody else does. That's not your own personal brand. So what do you want people to know about you? What do they already know about you? An example is if you're great at designing shoes or clothes, showcase them at school. If you're a leader, step up wherever you are. If you don't know what your talent is, Think what comes naturally to you. For me at school, we always had to do business presentations. And my friends were like, Christian, I cannot do this. I'm gonna just give it to you and you present it. But for me, that was easy, so I knew that was my lane. Step 2, add value in every space you're in. This is so important. You need to be the person who makes things better. Don't add to the problem. Do you uplift people? Do you offer solutions? If you walk into a room, do you bring that good energy? And lastly, you don't need to own a business to start your brand. Think of content creators and influencers. Their brand is themselves. Step 3, and this is the most important step. We've heard it all today. Be authentic and be consistent. If your brand's about positivity, but you're negative online, you're on Facebook talking bad about your family, people gonna see that. People gonna know. If your brand's about leadership, but you're always quiet, you're not stepping up, people are gonna realize that and call you fraud. Your brand should be a reflection of you. It should not be a character. It should not be fake. It should be about who you are, the essence of you. Now, you're not just here to exist. You're not just floating up in space. You're here for a purpose. It's time for you to find your purpose. Every room you walk into is a chance to build that brand. Every first impression, every time you talk to somebody, every conversation, and every decision is brand building. And lastly, here's a challenge for you today. Come up with something that you want to be known for, whatever it is, and start today by building your brand. When you know who you are, when you show up with purpose, when you show up with passion, you make every space better. Don't just live in that space. Be a leader in that space. And start your brand today. Thank you. And I have time for some questions. If you might have any.
Any questions? Any questions?
I was saying, how did you grow to be a better speaker?
For me, it was just talking to myself in the mirror. So I said earlier, affirmations. That's kind of what I started off with by saying, I'm a good speaker. I can do this. Every time I speak, I get nervous. Like it's just human nature. And so practice and preparation. So every time I just practice and talk to myself in the mirror. And then also by reading books and becoming more articulate. Articulation and competence is important when you're going out and speaking to people, because people can pick up on that. Right there.
To sell cookies, there's some guidelines that you need to follow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to some of the younger entrepreneurs who are trying to get perishables out to people?
Yeah, so I would say definitely follow your cottage laws to make sure everything is up to standard. But also, personally, you guys can take a health safety class. I got food certified as a health manager, and so I knew what I was doing when I was making food and how to prepare it, because my worst fear was somebody becoming sick off of a product that I shipped out. So making sure that every product is met with quality, and so doing a food safety class is an important step to making sure that you know what you're doing when you're shipping out perishable items.
My question is, how do you build like your own personal brand? Like as an entrepreneur, I think it's easy to like get caught up in like my business brand and make sure that's good and professional, but just working on my personal brand, making sure people know like I'm the person behind it.
Right. So for me, people see me outside of my company. Some people don't even know I have a business, because it's just I want people to see me first. And so it's about becoming consistent. And so one big thing you can say is, when people meet me, how do I want them to feel after they meet me? What do I want them to say? And so you show up in that space all the time. If you want to be reliable, show up on time, don't be late. If you want to be funny, figure out ways to make people laugh and uplift them. So it's just about thinking about what you want to do, set the intention first, and then follow through on your intention.
Hello, Christian. What would you say to someone who started young in entrepreneurship, but then ended up getting a job in the field that he wants to work in, and now the entrepreneurship has kind of fell by the wayside?
That's a good question. Yeah, and that's happened to a lot of us. Is like, I started off with a pasta business, and then I quit it. I'm like, this ain't gonna work for me. And then I came back. So I was employed while I was being an entrepreneur. What I would say to you is that take it as a chance to learn. Grab something from it. Whatever you can do, network from it, because all these connections that you're gonna make right now are gonna help you with your business later on. So use it to fund the lifestyle you want to live later on, and just keep growing and learning from it. No problem.
entrepreneur myself, what are ways that I can get people wanting to come back to my business?
It's about leaving that lasting impression. You talked about it, Isaiah talked about it. It's about leaving that lasting impression. What do you want people to feel when they meet you after? And it's about doing something different. So if everybody else is doing this over here, you need to move out. You need to move lanes. Like I talked about earlier, everybody was just shipping off products and not talking to the customers anymore. And people were really missing that community. So I built community. I went out and I talked to people one-on-one. And so whatever you're doing, what is your business? All right, and what do you do? Customized shoes. Right on bar, yeah. So when you make a portrait, add a nice positive note in the back. Make people feel good about themselves. If people feel good about themselves, they'll associate you better.
Hi. What books did you read on branding? Would you suggest for branding?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you gotta start off with the basics like Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
But I've read a lot of self-help books, like The Mountain Is You. So that talks about how a lot of times that we're our own greatest enemy or our biggest self-critic, and a lot of things that we do, we're in our own way. And that's available on Spotify as an ebook for free that you can look into. Also, the Mel Robbins podcast. She talks a lot about how to grow your own self-branding. And then there's a book I can't say the name of, but Let That SHIT Go. But basically, it helped me realize that a lot of people are already in their own head. And that to get out of my own head, I had to realize that I'm here for my community and not just me. So those are the books that helped me kind of get my start. And so I would look a lot about self-help books and how you can utilize that to grow your own personal brand. Any more questions? Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. And can you give a round of applause to the encouragement?